Welcome to another edition of Octagon Circles and Squares, the NBC Sports podcast covering the cage, the mat, and the ring. I'm your host, Stephen D'Agostino. We have a special episode today. We are talking with the entire men's freestyle Olympic team, all 6 members coming through to catch us up as they prepare for Paris. That includes returning medalists Kyle Snyder and Kyle Dake. But first, get your day started with Bet the Edge. Jay Croucher and Drew Dinzig have all your betting needs covered, including how to win some extra cash during the Olympics. New episodes drop every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern. Whether you're targeting spreads and totals, circling player props, or looking for value in futures markets, they have it all. Now let's get to the interviews. Well, thanks, Kyle. Yeah, I appreciate it. Just before we get anything deeper, just want to hear, catch us up since trials, man. How's practice been at Nittany Lion on the mat? Outside the mat with family? How's the reception been in the community as you punch your ticket to your third games?
Everything's been good. I mean, it's usually just business as usual at the NLWC and Penn State. We all expect ourselves to be on the team and we expect ourselves to win, and that's just the standard. And, it's not like we have some big party or whatever when that happens. I mean, we just keep moving forward, keep working to get better. And, we love wrestling. So, it's fun, but to make 3 Olympic teams is pretty cool. It's all gone by really fast, and a lot of people, to make one is amazing. So having this be my third is a huge blessing.
Yeah, pretty cool. Seems like the understatement of the year. 3 Olympics is immaculate. But I mean, I want to get more into that. Your mentality heading into Rio, you're a young guy, expectations. I mean, you don't know what to expect your first games. Then you come into Tokyo with COVID, so different. Now this is a totally different animal. What's the mentality been, for all 3 iterations of your Olympics, and how have they differed over these 3 games?
The one thing that stays real consistent for me is just how much I love wrestling and I love competition. I want to compete against the best. I want to, be the best in the world. And whether it's the Olympics, the World Championships, or any international tournament I'm in, I want to wrestle as hard as I can with the fast pace and, break my opponents. So that mentality is the same. But I've learned a lot over the years. I mean, the way I train is different. Just being able to be a little more relaxed and comfortable going through the games process. And, even knowing what to pack, it's I've done this a lot. So it's all very normal to me.
What are the Kyle Snyder packing essentials for the Olympics, since most of us will never know what that's like?
I'm notorious for being the lightest packer on the team. So what I know as being an Olympian, when we get there, you get so much gear, so many pairs of shoes, shorts, shirts, podium gear, socks, so there's really not a whole lot that I actually need to bring. So I just bring the basic essentials, and then I get the rest there.
The Kyle Snyder garage sale after your 3rd Olympics will probably be a sight to behold with all the swag you got. So 16, you blitzkrieg in, win gold, still in college, and it seems to be a pretty cool trend now. We had that in Tokyo as well, and now another young gun at the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club coming up, and out of nowhere. How is, in your opinion, American wrestling change, where we're seeing younger and younger guys making an immediate impact on the international stage, given that you were one of those guys in 16?
Yeah, I mean, the guys are just really good. I think that the RTCs have been huge in regards to development, because people are wrestling with, it's I wrestled with Brooks, when he was in high school. So, I was already a world and Olympic champion, and I had to move to the Olympic Training Center to be able to do that when I was a senior in high school. So there's just been a lot of development in that way. And I mean, these are just special athletes, special wrestlers, and I'm not sure if it'll always be these young guys who can find their way onto the Olympic team and, Lord willing, winning gold medals. But I mean, we just have a lot of really great wrestlers right now.
A lot of great wrestlers, and then a lot of great rivalries, namely with Russia, and especially with your weight class with Sadulayev. Things in flux right now, and I guess specifically for your weight class and for that opponent, how do you parse that out? Would you rather them compete? Have you moved on? Just given specifically the rivalry that you share with him as an athlete specifically.
I'd rather them compete. I mean, I want the best guys in the weight class, and so I'd love for all those Russians to be there. I mean, but it's not like there isn't Russians in the weight class. I mean, every weight at the Olympics has multiple people who, live in Russia but compete for different countries. So, I'll be wrestling guys from Russia, but not having Saljalayev is a bummer. But I'm still, obviously, it's the Olympics, and I'm excited to compete. And there's a lot of great competitors to get ready for. And Lord willing, I win, and then I'd like to wrestle him sometime after the Olympic Games.
It's almost like pay-per-view material right there.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to watch. One of those guys you're alluding to, I'm sure, is Tazudinov from Bahrain, who you have history with. How underlined is that name? I know it's a bracket. You got to wrestle one match at a time, but I'm sure you're looking forward to that matchup if that comes up in Paris.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now we're scheduled to wrestle in the semifinals if we both make it there. And so, I mean, like you said, you got to take every match seriously at the Olympics. And these are, 16 of the best guys in the world. So just being ready for each opponent. But, I mean, I'm specifically getting ready for guys like him in the weight class and have a game plan, and also just wrestle a brutal pace, which is what I enjoy doing, and making it very difficult for them to do anything to me.
I thought I read this up somewhere, but did you ever go over there to roll with Saljalayev over there, to train at all in Eastern Europe?
I went to Dagestan in 2022, and I didn't wrestle with him at all. We pretty much just partied the whole time. Like, I mean, not like drinking and stuff, but I'm talking about like just literally up late at night, going to dinners, meeting his family, meeting, his grandparents, flying to his home village, like meeting the governor of Dagestan. Like, everywhere we went, it was just like a party, and didn't do a whole lot of training, but it was a great experience, and they were very, very great hosts.
Yeah, the quote that I think I just heard one quote from you. It's a former interview, and it just said it was nuts. And so I was like, I have to hear more about this. Like, what was the one experience that was the craziest thing that happened while you were over there in Dagestan?
I mean, I don't know if there was just one experience. It's like, we get there, we land in Moscow, and Saljalayev, all these great wrestlers pick us up. We immediately go to this boat on the river in Moscow, and we have this huge dinner with like steak and lobster and shrimp. And then we come back and we stay in like one of the nicest hotels in Moscow, wake up the next morning, and we don't even have to go through security at the airport. We just get on the plane in Moscow, fly to Dagestan. We get picked up by one of the head coaches there in a nice Mercedes-Benz, and we go to another place in Dagestan, and we spent time there, had a great dinner, and then it was like the whole time we were like bouncing back and forth from Makhachkala and Kasavert in Dagestan, and we were meeting governors and mayors and their family, and we were staying up till 2 a.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. and took a helicopter to see the Dagestanian landscape, and they gave me land in Russia. So, the whole trip was just crazy.
I feel like I could do a whole interview with just this. I don't want to keep you too long on that.
I mean, it's interview worthy. It's good stuff. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting, because before we were starting here, you mentioned you like being kind of the heel, getting booed a little bit when you're wrestling internationally. But from things I've heard in my experience is that a lot of these international communities, there's this crazy respect for the wrestlers. Do you also get that vibe, whether it's Russians or other Eastern Europeans or anywhere else in the world, that at the end of the day, you guys are your wrestlers and there is kind of a camaraderie to some extent?
Definitely at the end of the day, there's respect. But on the mat, it's a different story, because I've been all over the country, and everywhere I go, that knows wrestling, they want to take a picture, they want an autograph and stuff like that. But if I get on the wrestling mat and somebody takes me down, like, I realize quickly they'd much rather their guy win than me, So, but I like that. I like that type of intensity, and it fires me up.
Well, next time we'll have to dig more into the Kyle Snyder Russian adventures. But I have to ask you this question: if you win, another gold medal, you joined a very, very exclusive club with names like John Smith, Bruce Baumgartner. And I just want to hear like the emotions if you were to think about becoming another member of that exclusive club with multiple gold medals. What would it mean to you to have that done in Paris?
It'd be a huge blessing, and I don't really think about it too much, just because I wrestle because God wants me to wrestle, and I want to honor Him, and he's the one that's given me the strength and the power to do this, and the talent and the ability. So it's really all about Him, and I don't really care much about a legacy or making my name great in the sport. Like, I'm just feel so thankful to be able to wrestle and do what I love to do and what God has given me the ability to do. So that's what's most important to me. And the fact that I've been able to accomplish so much is really just because of Him. So that's what comes into my mind when I think about stuff like that.
Well, yeah, thanks again, Kyle, for sitting down. Just, I guess, we were talking about the emotional win at trials. Just catch us up in that time on the mat. How's training been going? And also just time with your family and reception of the wrestling community now that you punched yet another ticket to an Olympics.
Yeah, training's been good. We've had a really good cycle going through this. There's been it's kind of gone as planned. We had a plan laid out. We started the Olympics and then work our way backwards, and we're hitting perfectly in stride. And obviously some things you have to adapt to, but for the most part, everything's been really good. The wrestling community has rallied around me. They've been very supportive with everything that's been going on in my life. And, it's been cool to see. I give my life to wrestling, and the wrestling fans, put some energy back into me, which is nice.
Yeah, wrestling really is such a small community and like a really family-driven community. I mean, have you and your family gotten a lot of strength from that? Really, kind of built off what the sport's given back to you to build off of some of those tough moments we talked about earlier with your father.
Yeah, I think that just the wrestlers are, like you said, a tight-knit community. We're just a little bit different, like it's not something where everyone can go out and play basketball or, whatever it is. You have to have a wrestling mat and be a part of it to know. And that's what's really cool. These people who are like, hey, I wrestled with your dad 40 years ago, and he was awesome. He was doing this, that, and the other thing. And, just cool stories that I never heard when I was a kid, even as an adult. And then people are coming almost out of the woodwork a little bit to show their support and say, hey, we're thinking about you, we're praying for you, and we're going to be behind you in Paris.
You talk about communities. I don't know if there's a bigger one than Penn State and that Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. Just specifically with that group and that team that's very well represented in Paris.
Yeah.
What's it been like on the run up to the Olympics with that squad, with the support within the room? And then, Jason also, Nolf being around, someone that you're familiar with and faced, how has he been around as well to help contribute?
Yeah, the team is pretty awesome. That was a big reason why I came down because of the team. There was guys who were trying to accomplish the same goals as I was, and they were in the same phase of life as well. So being able to be around those guys and have a similar schedule, like go through practice and then have like an early dinner and then put the kids to sleep, having all of that, teammates that do the same thing, make it a little bit easier. So I would say for the most part, it's been nothing but great. Having all my teammates around, being able to be there for me through the time, the trying time, but also just being like, hey, whatever you need, I'm there for you. Like, how can I help you? And everyone's just, understands, everyone has their own individual goals, and, some of us can still accomplish them, some can't. So it's kind of just like a rallying point around the four guys that we have going for Team USA.
One of those guys not going, who I know is super close to you, is David Taylor. And we've spoken to him last year. He just talked about how valuable the friendship that you guys have and how much he is a better person and wrestler because of you guys. Just how involved has he been in? And I know he's got his own chapters that he's closing and opening. Just the relationship since trials and how involved are you guys in each other's lives leading into Paris?
Yeah, David leaving was a big deal. I mean, it's a huge shockwave that's being felt through the wrestling community, and definitely through my life as well. I moved down to Penn State to be close to him and train with him and start a business with him, and but life carries on. There's adjustments that need to be made, and he's been nothing but great since the trials. He's been super supportive of everything going on, and he's also done a really good job helping me with the business as I'm trying to take on this Olympic goal. So he's been awesome, and he actually came out to Colorado Springs for 2 days just to help me train. So I really value his opinion and value his knowledge for the sport of wrestling, and just to be able to roll with him a couple times before the Olympics has been special.
You're a veteran now. You're in Tokyo. What experiences from Tokyo Games are you taking with you this time that you think will make a difference as far as performance that might help you out for Paris?
I think Tokyo was just such a different ballgame. It was during the lockdown, and it was just such a different time. So having my family there is probably going to be the biggest thing for me. I love having my family around, my kids. I have 3 kids right now, and we have another one on the way, actually. So we're pretty excited about that. My wife has been an amazing mom, an amazing wife, and to have her there with me has been that was a challenge in 21, and now I'm really excited to have her there. So just having my family there, I think, is probably the biggest difference, and that will definitely lend a lot of support.
One of the interesting aspects about this Olympics is, all this stuff with Russia that's happening recently. It's all very in flux. It's hard to even tell what's going on. But as of now, it doesn't sound like they're there. That could pertain to 74 kg with Sidakov. And I guess just strictly from the competition sense, don't have to any other context, but competition-wise, does it matter to you to face someone of that caliber, or have you moved on and focused on other things?
I can't control anything that's outside of me. I can't control what the world politics are. I can't control what injuries people might have. There could have been, a bus accident. There could have been so many things that happen to any one of us. So, we're just thankful for the days that we get and for the opportunity. So for me, mostly it's just grateful to be able to go out and compete. Obviously, I want to compete against the best guys in the world, mostly because I want to prove to myself that I am, and I believe that I am. I feel like I'm there, and I put in a great year of training. And I feel prepared to go out there and compete to the best of my ability. So excluding people for something that is somewhat out of their control is a little difficult to understand. But this is the world we live in, and this is the bracket that I'm going to have to face. So I go out there and compete to the best of my ability. And if I do that, then I think I'll get the results that I want.
The result you're looking for, obviously gold medal, top of the medal stand would be a dream. Just talk us through the emotions, given everything that's happened, given your history and your long career. What would a gold medal in Paris mean to you and your family?
Yeah, I think, some of the things I'm trying to teach my kids is, it's about the growth mindset. It's about the abundance mindset, rather than trying to fixate on a point, trying to fixate on one thing, like the goal, like, I want to be an Olympic champion. Well, that may or may not happen. I don't know. What I do know is that I can go out and control the variables that I can control. I can go try to score points. I can go out and have fun. I can go out and compete with courage. And I can go out and be thankful that I have the opportunity. So if I accomplish those 4 things, then I feel satisfied with whatever happens. So if I go out and score points, I feel like, everyone wants to win. So I feel like that will take care of itself if I just go out and have some fun, score points.
All right, Spencer. Well, yeah, thanks for sitting down, man. We appreciate it. What a run recently, huh? I mean, not just the trials, but, qualifying the weight, and even before then. Just catch us up since then. How's training been going, life on the mat? And then also outside of that, how's reception been in the wrestling community, Team USA? How's it all been clicking over the last few weeks?
It's been awesome. People have been super kind to me, and they've been super supportive. A lot of people believed in me for a long time. And, it's been a long time since I've even had the opportunity to compete at this stage. I mean, this was my first time ever competing for a world or Olympic team since, I was like 17, age group stuff. So this is my first senior world team. So trials even. So I never even had the opportunity to try out for a senior team. So and I'm going to be 26 in October. So it's been a while. So I'm super excited that people haven't, given up on me, and they keep believing in me. And they just said, when it's going to be your time eventually. And they were super supportive, and having a great support network, as everyone should know, that it's very important to get to a stage like this. And I'm very appreciative of everyone that has been there for me and will continue to be there for me. And I will go out there and do my best in Paris.
You had mentioned this kind of feels like the first time you've been healthy in a while. And how have you been able to kind of not just like train to stay healthy, but I mean, let's be honest, you're wrestling at a clip right now that's probably some of the best wrestling we've seen between all the international tournaments you've been dominating and how well you looked at trials. Like, Have you changed your regimen at all? Was it a mental mentality shift? How have you been able to maintain this pace?
Well, like I said, the support network has been huge. I mean, I had a quote at the trials that if it weren't for, the Iowa medical staff and, my coaches, I probably would be retired right now, just because I didn't know if I could continue to compete at this level, continuing to get hurt and, my health. So I just know that that's been a big thing for me is, sticking to the routine, changing up the regimen a little bit to, adhere to my, personal injuries and whatnot to prevent, prevention and prehab versus, rehab. So we're doing prevention, with my trainers and whatnot, and doctors who got me in a program to continue to do that for my knees and anything else that's been ailing me. But it's been awesome. And, like I said, I'm just so appreciative of them not continuing or not giving up on me, continue to keep striving for me to be the best I can be. I kept telling everyone this is just the beginning for me, not the end of my career. So.
Long road for you to get here. You overcame a lot of adversity, not just, with injuries, but, senior year college didn't end the way you wanted to either. And you fought through that to get here. Was there any demons of doubt ever? And were there any people in your life that really kind of lifted you up when you needed it the most to get you to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I think my coaches were some of the biggest people in my corner. My parents were people that said, hey, let's take some time, think about some stuff, and then, we'll gather your thoughts and we'll make a decision. And for me, it was like, I just want to see what my potential could be. I've never competed against the best guys in the world. I've had people tell me for a long time that I could compete against anybody. And for me, those are words that don't have a lot of meaning if you can't back it up. Right. I mean, and I'm obviously very appreciative of them, thinking so highly of me, but I want to go out there and wrestle the best. And I want to prove to myself and to everyone that I can wrestle with anybody and compete against, with anyone at any level. And so for me, I think it was like, what's my potential and what can I do to reach that potential? And for me, it was, all right, we got to get healthy and then we got to, change up some things and, figure it out. And then let's do this. So.
You mentioned your parents there. A lot of connections here with the host country, especially with on your mom's side. Is it kind of feel serendipitous at all that this is all coming together right now in this moment? And is it more of is it extra gravity that, I could be in France to win this and have my mother up there as well? Like how crazy is that?
Well, it's just, for me, it's actually really cool because the last time I competed for Team USA was in 2016 in France. It was in Macon, and my family all got to come watch me, except for my grandmother. So my grandmother's never watched me wrestle in person, but now my grandmother is going to be able to come watch me here in Paris. So the first time my 83-year-old grandmother, who only speaks French, is ever get to watch me wrestle will be in Paris at the Olympics. So she's so excited. I mean, she was crying. There's a video of me FaceTiming my grandma right after the trials in the back room. We were taking pictures, and it was surreal to be able to know that it'll be in my mother's home country, and my grandmother is going to be able to watch her grandson compete in the biggest stage in the world in her home country. So I was just super excited to be able to have that opportunity, and it is a little bit surreal. And it is cool that my last competition for Team USA was in France, and then my first one, 7 to 8 years will also be in France.
The judo, I don't think overlaps with the wrestling. So is Mama Lee going to be able to catch both? Is she gonna be there for the whole time, or that's a background of hers?
She will be here in the 4th. So I think judo does start before us. So I want to go watch the judo. I watch the judo every year at the Olympics or every Olympics, just because I love seeing the best athletes in the world, especially how much the sport has changed. Judo is a lot different than when my parents did it. So when they watch it now, they kind of laugh because the rules are a lot different, and there's just a lot of differences between when they were able to compete. My dad's like, I couldn't even have competed now just because they don't allow wrestling in judo anymore. He used to do a lot of wrestling moves in judo. You can't do that anymore. You can't shoot to the legs or hit below the knees or anything like that in judo with your hands. So it's a little bit different, but it is going to be cool. I hope we get to go watch. I'll go watch with them. I'll be training, and obviously my focus will be on when I compete, but a little bit of time watching the other Americans compete in judo would be awesome.
Yeah, the one of my favorite videos is the infamous one of your mom tossing you on your back in your kitchen. Just more about your family and specifically your mother. How big of an influence has she been, not just recently, but through your whole life, through wrestling and competitive sports, and just kind of the fire she's given you through her athletic career and as well?
She's been awesome. My mom has been super supportive. It's funny because my dad's the one that's the motivational, hard work, determination. My mom was always kind of laid back, less serious because my mom, I'm more like my mom. My mom was like just super talented, really like, really good judo player, just a natural, So my dad always attests that I'm a good mix between the both of them. So it is cool. And she did an awesome job, kind of telling me what she wished she would have done as an athlete more, and making sure I don't have those same regrets as she did when she was an athlete. Because, there's some things she wished she could have changed. I mean, she'll deny that. She'll say, I don't care. My career's over. It happened, but my dad and I have talked about it. And I know that there are things that she wished she would have probably done different and to be the best in the world. Because I believe my mom definitely had the ability to be the best in the world. And my dad will die on that hill, 100%. So.
Yeah, I don't know many two people that put Spencer Lee on his back like your mom throwing you.
She's told me a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, this big French connection. You're in France. Let's visualize if you do come away with that gold medal. What's the food spread looking like? And are you dusting off the French to order for that big victory dinner?
Absolutely, yeah. I can speak some French. Me and my mom, we talk pretty much mixed French and English. I'm honestly horrible. I understand French pretty well. I can read pretty well. But my speaking skills are probably worse than a toddler's. But I'm doing my best. I'm learning. Obviously, it'd be awesome if I could speak to the French media after. I mean, obviously, if they spoke in French, I could answer, but it might be mixed of French and English. But I'll understand what they ask, and that'll be really cool for me. Just like proud moment for like my grandma to know that her grandkids can still speak the language that she speaks, because my grandma doesn't speak any English. So
another pretty high profile supporter is Dallas Cowboy Micah Parsons, who's a huge wrestling fan. He's locked in. He was at trials tweeting. We saw everything there. Has he talked to you at all leading up into Paris? Is he going to be there? And then also, it's kind of funny because flag football is coming into the Olympics in LA. I mean, are we going to see a Spencer Lee, Micah Parsons Parade of Nations? I mean, this could be pretty neat here.
Oh my gosh, he would kill it in flag football. Yeah. So me and Micah, we were on Team Pennsylvania teams growing up, probably for like 4 years in a row. He was like the man at heavyweight growing up. He was a really, really good wrestler. I mean, he was just a natural. I mean, who would have guessed, right? Is he the best NFL linebacker in the country? And then no kidding, he'd be good at wrestling, right? He was always a big kid. I just remember he was winning everything, and he was kind of like the man. And then all of a sudden, he just disappeared off the face of the earth in wrestling. And then I remember seeing like a post about him like being the number one like linebacker recruit in the nation. And I was like, of course he is. Like it just made sense to me So it was awesome having him, support. He's always been super supportive. He's always messaged me about stuff. So I mean, I think that's really cool because like when I tell my teammates who are big football fans, like, Micah Parsons is like, yeah, I was on teams with the guy, man. Like, so we have a picture of me and him, and he's just we were really, really young. I think we were like in third grade or something then. And he was obviously way bigger than me, and I was a bigger kid growing up. I mean, I've been this height since I was like 11, so 10 years old. So.
Yeah. One of you grew a little more exponentially than the other.
A lot more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, specifically about, what we're going to see on the mat in Paris, it's in the news everywhere that, Russia's status is kind of in flux, and you don't really have any direct correlation with any of these guys, but Aguayev is a big name at this weight class. I mean, and I guess just taking all the context out of it and just strictly in a competitor stance, like, does it affect you at all? Do you care? Like, would you rather compete against someone like that, or have you set your sights on other things and you're already past it?
So the thing is, you can only compete who they put out in front of you, right? But obviously, to me, it's very frustrating. I've always been taught that politics and sport shouldn't go together. So obviously, I'm not going to speak out on that. I don't really have an opinion because all I want to do is go out and, compete for Team USA the best I can be, and I'll leave all that to the people who deal with that. But I would absolutely, love to wrestle him. He's been a guy I've been watching, since 2018 when he was the first world champion, and he's won the most world Olympic titles. I think for a lightweight guy, I think he's got the most, or he's tied the most of anyone at that weight, or he's one away from being the most or tying the most. So he's been the most dominant guy in the last, 25 years at that weight class pretty much. So not having him in the weight class is definitely a disservice to the weight class because, he's the man, and you want to beat the man to be the man. So I know he took 5th last year, but he's beaten all those guys. He's obviously won, 3 world titles and the big gold medal. Not having to defend the big gold medalist when he was the guy to go is just frustrating to me because it takes away from the Olympic experience for me. But like I said, you can only compete who they put in front of you. But obviously I would love to wrestle him, and I'm not really thinking too much about it because if he's not in the bracket, then not really nothing to worry about, I guess. But go out and wrestle who they put in front of you. But definitely would have been a lot better if he was in the bracket.
Final question for me here. Very esteemed, very prolific career. With everything in your trophy case, what would an Olympic gold medal edition mean to you? And just where do you go if you were to see the Stars and Stripes raised in the rafters after that?
Well, I mean, it's been the pinnacle of what I've been training for since I was a little kid. It's been my one true goal, one dream. I mean, it's the pinnacle of my sport. I mean, I would just want to, see that flag be raised, with my family, and know that they put so much work and time and effort into seeing me try and achieve my goals. So just to see all that come to fruition would be amazing, and it would just be a dream come true, especially in Paris, and obviously the biggest stage in the world.
So, Zain, just catch us up from trials. Awesome tournament back there, and then as you alluded to, you had some more work to do. But since trials, other than qualifying the weight, how has training specifically been going on the mat? How has reception been with your family and just stuff within the wrestling community?
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. Just enjoying every single moment as it comes. After the Olympic trials, I was super grateful that they were in State College, Pennsylvania, where I went to school. I don't get many opportunities to wrestle in the Bryce Jordan Center, so grateful for that. Grateful for getting to go and qualify the weight class, and now get to go and represent the United States at the Olympic Games. So the reception's been great. Our community at Benton and in State College in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania's a really big wrestling state, and just they're really excited. So looking forward to the summer.
You talk about that community at Penn State, names like the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, and you and Nick in the finals there at trials was kind of like this big kind of illustration of just how deep it is. How describe your relationship with Nick, and I know it wasn't easy wrestling someone that you know that well. How have you guys been since then, and has he still been in the room helping you out and stuff for Paris?
Yeah, Nick is a coach at Penn State right now, and so super excited for that for him. And Nick and I we're like brothers. He was a true freshman when I was a senior. So at the NCAA tournament that year, we were roommates, and just have had a great relationship. Wrestling him at trials was hard. It's hard to wrestle someone that you look to as your brother, and only one of us can make it. So it's it's tough, but he's the man, and he showed up for me. He came over to Turkey with me and was my training partner out there. He's going to be my training partner for Paris. Just says a lot about him as a human being that he's willing to do that. And so super grateful for Nick.
Yeah, what a huge asset to have someone that close to you over there in Paris. And that's going to, you're going to need that. I know there's this kind of strange curse for the weight class of 65 kg with the U.S. team. And it seems kind of silly, but it's been 20 years since I think they got a medal in Athens, I believe. How do you look at that? Are you going to break that trend? How do you see yourself bucking this quote curse that the U.S. team has at the weight class of 65 kg?
Yeah, there's no curse. It's just one tournament, so it's kind of how I view it. I've heard that thrown around even at Penn State, one of our weight classes, our later weight class, we've struggled. But I hear the word curse and I kind of cringe at that. I don't think it's real. It's just not true. So I'm just thinking about taking care of business. I'm focused on my training. My training feels great. I trust my coaches. I trust in my training, and just super excited and grateful to go out and compete. And I've done this for 20 plus years, so it is the Olympics, but at the end of the day, it's just another tournament, and doesn't discredit anything, but just excited to go out there and compete and do what I've done for the last 20 years.
One of those competitions that you had success in was at Worlds in 2023. 2 world champs at this weight class in Paris. You one of them, so it's pretty stacked. But you have to like your chances. How do you feel at 65 versus 70 between last year and this year?
Yeah, 65. I wasn't sure if I was going to do to myself again. Just with last Olympic cycle, I didn't feel very good at the weight. 70 is my natural weight if I'm just eating the quantity of foods that I want to eat and eating healthy, but eating the quantity I want. So I've just had to be more mindful of that. I haven't lifted as much, had to change up my training, more running and cycling and things like that. But it's been good. I've been feeling great. And again, that comes back to just trusting my coaches. And, they set forth a really good game plan for me to make this weight and feel good, and leaning on that fully. So.
You said there was some kind of maybe mulling over about weight classes and stuff after the last cycle. I know that included maybe even retirement. What went into deciding to come back and give it another go? And I guess if you had to write your own story in the next 6 months, what does it look like for you through Paris and beyond in your wrestling career?
Yeah. So the thought to come back and compete again was a lot of prayer, a lot of conversation with my wife, and praying on it, thinking about it. And I just had this pulling on my heart to continue to compete this year. It was, the tournaments in State College. How could I not do that? And super grateful now that I signed up for it again. I knew that the weight cut was going to be a challenge, and it was something that was a real possibility that it wouldn't work out just with how I felt last Olympic cycle. So kind of accepted that, I could crash and burn at the Olympic trials, and I'm willing to take that risk just for the chance to compete again. And luckily I've been feeling great, but anyway, I'm just super grateful that I decided to do it. It's been challenging, but I've actually enjoyed this weight cut, and this is the last time that I'm going to make 65. So just one thing at a time. And that's what I'm focused on through the Olympics. I'm not sure what is in store for me afterward, just focused on enjoying the summer. And it's been fun.
Well, thanks, Mason, for sitting down. What a whirlwind recently. If capitalize it at trials, which a good showing there. Just catch us up since then. How's training been going on the mat? How's life been with your family? How's the reception been in the wrestling community since you punched your ticket to the Olympics?
Yeah, everything. It's been amazing. It's been a really, really cool, fun experience. Me and my family were super excited to, go over there in Paris and, go out there and win a gold medal. That's the goal. So, training's been really good. My body feels really great. I think my mind is the best it's ever been. So, I'm going to, capitalize on all of that and go out there and do my best.
That room up there at Cliff Keen is pretty special. Not just even with the U.S., but a lot of international guys that are getting represented over there too. What's the vibe of the room been like? And kind of the mood and overall demeanor, knowing that you guys are so well represented in Paris coming up here in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, out there with all my teammates. We all have the same goals of being an Olympic champion. So it's a lot of fun. It's also very competitive. Everyone is representing some of their own countries and stuff. So we all go back and forth over who has the best, and we all want to win gold medals. So it's an awesome competitive nature.
One of the guys in that room, Adam, very, very well through your time at Michigan and stuff. What's it like been sharing this process with him? I know different styles, so you guys probably aren't drilling a ton, but I'm sure you're working out a little bit. Just what's it mean to have Adam in that room with you, and that an experience you to share with someone as a fellow Wolverine?
Yeah, Adam's an awesome person and an awesome wrestler, and he's been a really great role model and for me, bringing me into Michigan. He was the heavyweight before me, so it's just been awesome to spend a lot of time with him and just pick his brain about wrestling. And when we get on the mat together, it's it's a lot of fun. We're different styles, but we make it work. And he's helped me out just so much with my hand fight, controlling my position and clearing these underhooks, things that I'm going to really need in the Olympics. So it's a really, really great relationship where we're able to help each other out.
Last year after Final X, you get a phone call that you're stepping up into that role, which actually paid some pretty great dividends for you at Worlds, and then you parlayed that into where we are now after another great showing at trials. What are the biggest factors that you've been able to maintain that momentum, whether that be like, particular people in your support group, whether a specific change in your style? Was there anything that you kind of shifted to take it to the next level to get you to Paris?
Yeah, for me, it was just, after the World Championship, it was a really big confidence booster for me. It just made me realize that, I'm just as good as all these other guys in the world, and I can be the best. And, it was just really, really good for me. And, I've just felt like my wrestling has continued to get, so much better, every single week, every single month, every single practice. So, it's just been, a lot of fun for me to, visually see, a lot of, this hard work paying its dividends. And, I've just been really carrying, that momentum from the World Championships last year, into this Olympic Games. And, like I said, this is the best I've ever felt, physically and mentally. So I'm really excited to go out there and, prove the world what I can do.
One of those names from the world stage, I think you've had circles, Gino, for a potential rematch there coming up into Paris. How much have you been looking forward to that rematch? I know you got to take it one match at a time, but do you have that name circle? Is that someone you'd like to see in the bracket on your way to a potential gold medal?
Absolutely, 100%. He's one of the legends in heavyweight wrestling. So just being able to wrestle him last year, was an amazing experience. And for me, I just felt like I made the mistakes, and it was all on me. And he's a veteran; he's going to capitalize on some of those things. But I'm going in there, with the mindset that I'm the best in the world. So he's a guy I'm really looking forward to wrestling, and I think that I'm going to go out there and, just do my thing.
The Paris of Paris thing, the shirts are everywhere. The swag's out there. You can probably buy them all over the internet. You turned 24 this year. We're in 2024. It seems all very serendipitous, all coming together at the right time. When did things start to click after trials that, wow, this is actually happening? This could be a really special year. Or are you still kind of on cloud nine a little bit?
I'm still kind of blown away, about all the Olympic stuff, but I think for me, it just really hasn't, settled in about the Olympics. I think it, maybe will, afterwards, I'm obviously really excited about it, but it's just, it's going to be, a really, really cool experience. And, for me, it's just, thinking about, the next thing. I made the Olympic team. I've been thinking about making the Olympic team for so long. And now for me, it's to win that Olympic gold medal. And, that's just kind of all my energy's been focused on. So, I was happy, for a couple of days. Then it was, right back to work, reaching for that gold medal.
Olympic gold, something kids dream of their entire life. Just finally, just talk us through the range of emotions as you visualize staying on top of that podium and hearing the national anthem play. If you were to get that gold medal in a few weeks.
Yeah, for me, it's just really reaching the pinnacle of wrestling. The very last stage, the very last level. So, I'm really excited for it. I visualize all the time. I just see myself, wrestling my match, executing my moves perfectly, and overcoming adversity in the matches. But at the end of the day, getting my hand raised, getting that gold medal on me, and hearing the national anthem play in front of everyone. So it's something I'm really excited for, and I can't wait for it to come true.
Aaron, thanks for joining us here, man. Just what a run, what a crazy run this has been for you. Just catch us up since last time we saw you at trials. How's training been on the mat? How's time with family and loved ones as you've basked in this? And what's the reception been like in the wrestling community as you punch your first ticket to the Olympics?
Yeah, life's been great. Very blessed. Got a lot of stuff going on. That's fun stuff. Moving to a new place. Got a new truck. Training for the Olympics. So, yeah, life's been great. It's been fun.
Talking about that training environment at Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, it kind of seems the place to be right now for all things wrestling. What's the energy been like in that room, given that you guys are so well represented in Paris with multiple members? Is it kind of business as usual, or is there any extra level of excitement heading into the games?
Yeah, I would definitely say business as usual. It's cool to be in that culture because a lot of stuff we do is business as usual. So just keeping things the same, not switching it up just because different arena, different stage. But at the end of the day, it's a wrestling match. So I think we all kind of think that way. And it's pretty cool that we get to do it together. Those are the guys you're around every day. That's my community. So.
Speaking of that community at Penn State, might be business as usual in the room, but man, that crowd was nuts, especially for your match. What did it mean to you to perform that way in front of what is your home crowd with the Nittany Lion faithful there?
Yeah, that was really cool. I think, especially coming off the college season, because we wrestled in BJC once every year, and so I remember wrestling back there versus Rutgers. I was like, hey, we got one more time in here this year, so. Yeah, I love our fans, and being able to wrestle at Penn State to make the Olympic team was pretty cool. And just having that support, definitely felt it when I was wrestling and pushed me forward.
All Nittany Lion final there, as was the case the year before at Final X. What was the mood like after in the room after Final X, and then also going into trials? I'm sure you guys kind of kept your distance and mind your own business, but at the end of the day, you're on the same club team. So how did you guys maintain the room, and like what's the conversation been like since trials heading into Paris between you and DT?
Yeah, I think it was kind of just both that kind of mutual respect. I think, well, obviously I knew I was going to have to go through him. He probably was expecting it to be me that came to the challenge bracket. So I think, just that looking at it from an iron sharpens iron standpoint, and just going forward now, I haven't talked to David, but, I know he's coaching and got some busy stuff going on. So
it looks like you guys shared like a really powerful moment after the match, exchanged some words. Don't have to get too into it, but if any details there, what was said between you guys, or is this keep it close to the chest?
Yeah, just like you said, keep it close to the chest, but thanking him. He's definitely a pioneer for Penn State itself, and so I think just thanking him and then wish him the best going forward, whatever he does and how it's coaching.
We've seen this pretty crazy trend the last few cycles of young guys going through NCAAs, winning big, and then immediately making a massive impact on the international stage. You, the latest edition of that. What do you think it is about college wrestling these days that's given you young guys more of an edge to immediately make a difference internationally?
I think it's great reps. So like the college season, it's definitely an advantage in my opinion, because you're competing all the way up into it. So a lot of those guys, senior level, they're not competing that many times throughout the year. But when you get the ball rolling in college and you just keep it going, I think it's definitely an advantage. So I just think you're wrestling. You've been you're in rhythm. So that's what I would say.
You're kind of. I think a lot of people, we're expecting DT. You played spoiler, shocked the world. It's you now. One of those big matchups I think people were looking forward to was the Yazdani Taylor matchup. It's been a big rivalry, and now another Nittany Lion comes in. Is that a name that you're looking forward to wrestling? I know you can only take one name at a time, but that seems to be like a really fun rivalry for the Americans in that weight class.
Yeah, definitely. He's a worthy opponent, Olympic champ, world champ. I think I'm kind of looking forward to wrestling all those guys, just because it's my first time on the senior scene for international. So yeah, I say that's definitely one match, but a lot of those guys I'm looking forward to scrapping with. So
very young, got a long career ahead of you if you choose to stick with it. Do you see yourself doing right now multiple cycles? Or are you just kind of taking it one step at a time with Parris as of now?
Yeah, I think one step at a time. I never try to get too far ahead. So definitely just focus on what's here right now in front of me. So we'll see.
And finally, for me, this lifetime dream for every wrestler that ever laces up is to lift a gold medal around their neck. Mentally, as you visualize that, what are the feelings you feel if you were to sit on top of that medal stand, hear the national anthem, and come back with a gold medal to the United States?
I think just gratitude. Everything God has given me, I don't deserve. So I just think if that's the case, just gratitude.
Don't miss these wrestlers compete with the best of the best in their quest for gold. The Olympic Games return live from Paris on NBC and Peacock. It all starts Friday, July 26th. And that'll do it for this edition of Octagon Circles and Squares. Stay tuned to this channel as we continue the rest of our episodes to catch up with the rest of the United States Olympic team. Thanks. We'll see you then.